Oh, come here, guys. This way. Over here. Come on. Look at Mr. Snowman. Mr. Snowman. He coming down shortly. But we've got our Christmas lights on up and stuff. We got our Christmas motif. That was fun for about a month or so. And we're taking the doggies for a little walk. Oh, look at that. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right, guys, come on. We're going to go this way. This way, guys. Come on. So I wanted to take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy holiday season, no matter which holiday you are celebrating. I may not have posted on Facebook or sent somebody a direct message or a card this year, but I'm going to be gravitating a lot more towards, I think, personal calls and video chats via Zoom, and then some YouTube videos. Definitely a lot more video, I think, this year. Haven't dabbled that much in TikTok or Instagram, but I'm willing to give it a shot. See if we get one of these breakout moments. We're gonna go viral. Yeah, if we're lucky. I guess doing a little bit of vlogging this year. Let my clients and people that may potentially work with me get to know me a little bit better. Maybe not so much a traveling vlog, but just like into the daily life of Craig Levine. Woo! We're getting personal here. So these are my doggies. There's Vanna Banana. She's a pretty girl, isn't she? She's my Australian Shepherd. She's Vanna Banana. Isn't she a pretty girlie? She's a pretty good girl, yes. I know, she's a loud one, too. Pretty loud. And then there's Mr. Gizmo. Gizmo. Ready, come? Mr. Vanna? Okay, enough. Mr. Gizmo. He's Mr. Gizmo. Mr. Gizmo, he's my quiet Shih Tzu. We had Linda's family over for Christmas Eve, and that was nice. We didn't have to do anything for Thanksgiving as far as cooking or cleaning this year for the first time in 10 years, which is really nice because Linda's nephew bought a house out in Ackworth, Georgia. Really nice place. And so they volunteered to have Thanksgiving out at their place. And so that was nice. But we did have her family over for Christmas Eve. And then we had a nice, really quiet, relaxing Christmas day. The weather around here has just been really brutally cold. We had a real scare. Well, actually, before I get into this scare, let me tell you that the morning of Christmas Eve, when Linda is supposed to be cooking up everything, she's got probably about 8-10 dishes to prepare. She tells me the stove is out. This is about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we've got people coming over at noon. And wouldn't you know, the stove is out. Like, oh my God, it's crazy. We did find out that the broiler was working. Pretty crunchy, toasty dishes. And we have an air frying little oven. And so she's like, you know what, I'll make it work. And she was a really good sport about it too. So everything went off fine. And she cooked everything up in the little air frying oven, and she, finished things off in the broiler. And so I give kudos to Linda for handling the situation like that incredibly well. And so, getting back to my scare, I think it was Christmas Day. Now, grant you, the day before, our stove wasn't working. And then, Christmas Day, wake up, take a shower. And then I get Vanna in the shower. Oh, you see how she just turned around at the word shower? She is not enthralled with showers. She thinks that they're sort of punishments, but it's a good way to get her to like stop barking or do something. But when she's in the shower, she actually likes it. So, we're showering afterwards with Vanna after I take my shower, and I felt like a little bit of water pressure difference. Really didn't give it too much consideration. But then, I don't know, maybe an hour or two later, Linda says, I hear water running. And I'm like, really? And so, come downstairs, we don't have anything on, and put my ears up to the walls and stuff, and yeah, she's right. It sounds like water's flowing pretty strong. And so we look around, there's no obvious leaks, no wet walls or anything. I'm sitting here like, what the heck? Walk outside in the front, nothing. Walk outside in the back, and there's a big puddle in the driveway. And so I'm like, oh no. Open up the crawl space door, and there's water in the crawl space. I'm like, oh goodness gracious. No! And this is after so many condo complexes, apartment complexes have had pipes busted over the last couple of days, and you know, you sort of feel for everybody. I mean, this is like crazy because the weather has just been absolutely frigid. I mean, like in the teens, and the wind chills have been lower over the last 3-4 days. And so all these pipes are breaking, and it just hit us. So I take out the water meter valve and trying to scramble and find the water meter in the front yard, because my shutoff valve is at the very far end of our crawl space. And that crawl space, when I tell you, it is really low. It is really low. It's probably about, I'm gonna say, 3 feet high or so. So when you get down there, I mean, you're really doing military stuff. It's just not a fun place to be in. And it's dark. And it's just like, you know, probably got some spider webs in there and stuff like that. And that's one of my pet peeves. I hate walking into a house that's been vacant forever, and it's dark, and you walk into the basement and you're just like, oh my God, I just got zipped by the spider web. Oh, goodness gracious. One of my pet peeves, everybody. I get the water turned off, and we're like, there's no way we're gonna find a plumber right now. Not for probably 5-7 days because of all these broken pipes around town. And so I call up my buddy Martin, who's an amazing carpenter, and he's just, he's very talented, but he also knows plumbing and stuff. And I tell him, hey dude, man, we've got a problem out here, and it ain't Houston. And so he's like, I can't get on out until Wednesday. So we're like, okay, fine. So we're planning on, let's let the water run tomorrow because Linda's got to go back to work. We'll let the water run for maybe 10 minutes. Let her get her shower in. Hopefully we'll have some hot water, although that's not guaranteed. And maybe she can get a shower in. And then I'll turn it back off. Turn the water on the next day and start filling up tubs just in case we're going to be without water for a while. And find out there's actually hot water. And I tell Linda to go jump in the shower. So she jumps in the shower. And while the water's back on, I go looking around the backyard and inside the crawl space to see if I can find anything that's obviously leaking. And I see nothing leaking from the actual floors of the house itself. And so I'm like, this is weird. I don't think, we've got any underground pipes here or anything. Okay. When the water had frozen over, or actually dissipated the day before, but I see the water is actually what looks to be going back into the crawl space and not coming out of the crawl space. And so I'm like, okay. I start following the flow of the water outside, and I come up beside my AC unit, and nothing going on there for the most part, but there's still a puddle. And so I keep going around the AC unit, and my spigot to the hose for the outside over there also is tied into my hot tub line. And we've had problems with this hot tub line in the past freezing. While I was out of town, Linda had to deal with this. The hot tub line just totally froze and cracked, and water was spewing everywhere. And so I was out of town, and Linda handled it like a champ. She called up who? Martin. And Martin comes on over and gets it fixed. The water bill was definitely a little bit higher that month. I trace the line and I lift up the hot tub line, which comes off that same spigot, and boom. Water is flowing everywhere. Water is flowing everywhere. So I'm like, oh, thank goodness. This is something that's outside. It's not underneath the crawl space. It's not in the walls. It's something that's an easy fix. And I was like, voila! So I turned off that spigot, which I had easy access to. Not like the main shut off in the crawl space, which is all the way through the crawl space that I'd have to pull a military exercise to get to. It actually worked out okay. It was a much cheaper fix, and that's my water story. Back to the stove. And this was yesterday on Tuesday. So we were thinking that we were going to be without water and without a working stove for a while. Of course, getting a repair person in right now to fix appliances was not going to be easy. Just for, shits and giggles and stuff, go to turn on the oven cleaning cycle, and it locks up or whatever, and come on guys, we're gonna go back this way, and starts doing its thing. And I'm like, okay. After about 5 minutes, I start feeling a little bit of heat coming from up above the stove. And I'm like, well, just because I've got heat a little bit of heat doesn't mean that it's maybe not the broiler that was working coming back on, or who knows, maybe the oven is actually working. Stranger things have happened. So let it run for an hour. It's still going. And put my hand up there above the stove. I feel the heat. We finally let it complete the cleaning cycle. And we're keeping our fingers crossed at this point. It went through a whole complete cleaning cycle. I mean, there was like charred ashes on the bottom of the oven. And so, hoping and praying that the oven is actually working again. So, later that day, throw on the oven cycle just to see if this thing's gonna heat up. And that oven is heating up. 100, 105, 110, 125. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And about 15, 20 minutes later, it was at 450. And so I was just like in heaven. I was like, oh my goodness. We have gotten 2 things fixed today for the most part. Holy cow. Holy cow. This has been a pretty interesting couple of days right around Christmas Eve, Christmas, this whole weekend. And I hope that everybody else's hasn't been as eventful, but has been incredibly joyous, getting to see family, friends. Hopefully you haven't been stuck at an airport or can't get to your family and relatives because of the crazy weather we've had over the last couple of days. And I wanted to let you know that we'll be doing more videos and vlogs this year, and hope that you decide to tune in and subscribe to our channel. Don't worry about the likes. Those will come. We'll get better at this, but come along for the ride. We'd love to have you. And truly wishing everybody watching this a really incredible happy holiday season filled with joy, happiness, hope, and health, of course, and much success in 2023. Thanks so much. I'm Craig Levine with Ansley Real Estate, and hopefully we'll be able to help you out with any real estate needs in the coming year. Take care. We'll see you soon.